All right, so for this video, I'm gonna demonstrate how you would start your kiln for bisque firing. Here at OU, we typically do a really slow bisque firing for any beginning work. We just like to do that just in case like things are extra thick or maybe a little damp. Gives us a safeguard, nothing will blow up in the kiln. So we have a special system set up in that regard. We have on each kiln, program 1 is set for a slow bisque, and I'll show you how to make sure you're on program 1, okay? So before you get your kiln started, make sure your lid is shut. If you are doing a bisque, only put in these peeps. These are what we call peeps or plugs, or there's many names for them. Go ahead and put those in, just in the bottom 3, leaving the top 2 open so the kiln can vent. When you are doing a glaze firing, you will not need to do that. Okay, so now that I've got everything shut and ready to go, it's time to start the kiln. So we're going to make sure we clear it to idle. So I'm going to hit stop. And I'm going to see idle and then the temperature. So that's when I know I'm ready to program, okay? So to enter in this program 1, oops, 1 second, let me get a piece. So to enter this program, this is a really shoddy version of our program here. This is always hanging in the kiln room, and you'll be able to follow this along with what's on here. Program 1 will always be set to this schedule, but always double check before you start your kiln. Someone could have changed it or could have messed with it, so you just, want to make sure that you're all good to go. Okay, so to start the kiln, we're going to hit ramp hold. And that's going to read program, and that is 1. All right. Now, if you want to do your own program for something else later, that's a whole different story. You can change that later. Just do not change program 1. Okay. Program 1. We're going to hit enter, and it's going to be 5 segments or 5 ramps. That's the different stages of which like the kiln is ramping up in temperature. Okay. So ramp 1. That's RA1, that's what that means, ramp 1. We're gonna go 100 degrees an hour. So if you were to enter this in fresh, we're gonna go 100 and hit enter. And then we're gonna go 180 degrees an hour. Oh, sorry. That was a mistake. Hang on. All right, let me clear this out. All right, from the top. All right, so I'm gonna hit ramp hold, program 1, and if that's not entered, we can hit 1, enter. Segments 5. Ramp 1 is 100 degrees an hour to 180 with a hold for 8 hours. We normally do a hold for 6 to 8 hours at 180. That way we basically dry out our pottery. We don't have any more physical water left within the pots, and we don't have any risk of explosion. Okay, so you hit enter. So if you want to change that time, make sure that you hit 600 rather than 60 or just 6, because then you will only be doing a hold for 60 minutes or 6 seconds or 6 minutes. So that's not going to do you any good. Hit enter. So we're gonna go 150 an hour to 350. And we're gonna put that at like a 3-hour to 6-hour hold, depending on how thick the work is. If it's really thick sculpture, I would always go 6 hours or even more. Doesn't hurt to preheat for a really long time. You're really just saving your buns. All right, so we're going 6 hours. So I'm gonna enter 6 hours. All right. And so this next ramp is going to be 250 degrees an hour to 1,000 degrees. Hit enter. There's no hold at that temperature. Okay, ramp 4 is going to be, oops, I skipped that. It's going to be 250 degrees an hour to 1150. All right, if you enter the wrong number like I just did there, zero it out with zeros. 1150. No hold. Okay, ramp 5 is 200 degrees an hour to 1828, and 1828 is cone 06. No hold there. Alarm means nothing to you, and that means complete. So you're ready to get your kiln started, all right? So after you put your program in, always double check with the review button. So I'm gonna go through this a couple times. I have some OCD tendencies, so I have a habit of checking it probably about 5 times before I even start a kiln. So I'm gonna hit review. Program 1, segments 5. Ramp 1 is 100 degrees an hour to 180 with a 6-hour hold. 150 degrees an hour to 350, 6-hour hold. 250 an hour to 1,000 degrees, no hold. 150 an hour to 1150, no hold. 200 degrees an hour to 1828, no hold. All right, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. We're gonna let that go through all these other things that mean nothing to you. All right, and then hit start, and you're set to go. Before you leave this kiln, wait a little while, wait about an hour or so, make sure the kiln's firing properly. If you notice the kiln is ramping up in temperature really quickly and going past your hold, shut it off. That means something is wrong with the kiln. If you don't hear that clicking noise, shut your kiln off. That means the relays aren't working properly, and those are what control the temperature inside the kiln. Okay? Next I'll be demoing how to glaze or set a glaze firing. All right, thanks guys.